A woman who started her career as a lawyer in corporate finance has directed a transformation affecting tens of thousands of Atlanta's poorest. Many of them lived in dangerous public housing projects. Today, many of the worst of those projects have been replaced by developments that were once unimaginable. As we celebrate the heritage during this February, Channel 2's Richard Belcher now is here with more.
Renee Glover is not a household name across Atlanta, but in 14 years as head of the Atlanta Housing Authority, she has directed vast changes. Some of them in the form of bricks and mortar, but others that are really matters of changing the culture, a culture that had taken root in the projects. She has her critics, and she is happy to take them on.
That phase in the horizon is the site where there'll be wonderful townhomes and condominiums.
Renee Glover savors the changes as she walks the rolling hills of the Villages at Carver on Pryor Road in southeast Atlanta. 7 years ago, the old Carver Homes was 990 units of concentrated trouble. Glover says the public housing project was a magnet for society's predators.
But now, when you drive through, it's almost hard to imagine that all of that horror was here.
In place of Carver Homes, there are now nearly 600 units of multifamily homes for families of various income levels. Another nearly 200 multifamily units are on the way. Lots are being prepared for at least 200 single-family homes.
You've got multifamily rental, you have housing for the elderly, you have these wonderful schools.
Working with new federal funding and policy changes made under the Clinton administration in the mid-90s, Glover says the conditions for changes were all in place, but the situation in AHA projects was nightmarish.
They were all crime-ridden. They were all drug-infested. The real estate was horribly run down. Even though we had about 14,000 units on the books, 5,000 of them were uninhabitable.
Housing Authority contractors began the demolition on Carver Homes in late 2001. That cleared the way for private partners selected to invest in and manage the new developments at Carver and elsewhere across Atlanta. The changes are striking. The new Carver even includes a gleaming new YMCA. Before the demolition, Glover says public housing had gotten away from its early principles, that it was temporary and for families, and tenants were expected to work. She says decades of policy changes had made public housing far worse than it was in its early days in the 1930s and 40s. She says that had to be reversed.
How can we restore this program to its original intent, which was providing a resource around making it affordable rather than this terrible situation that had been created?
Her harsher critics say replacing Carver Homes and other old projects such as East Lake Meadows and Perry Homes has actually hurt poor blacks, the very people the authority is supposed to help. Renee Glover isn't buying it.
I would say that when we had the families living in squalor, that's when we had turned our backs on poor black folks.
Renee Glover and the Atlanta Housing Authority are currently moving up, speeding up the demolition date for Bowen Homes in northwest Atlanta. The reason, a surge of violent crimes in that AHA project. Her critics are angry. Renee Glover is unmoved. Live in the newsroom, Richard Belcher, Channel 2 Action News.
Richard, thank you.